Reddit stories.
My gut feeling saved us. From a literal death trap in rural England. Okay, Reddit, I've never told this story to anyone except my therapist and my wife Sarah. Even now, 3 years later, my hands get sweaty just typing this. If you're planning a road trip through the UK, especially the Peak District or the Pennines, please, for the love of God, listen to your instincts. I'm an American, 26M back then, and Sarah, 25F, and I decided to do the authentic British experience. We rented a tiny, silver Vauxhall Corsa. Manual transmission. I thought I was a hero for learning to shift with my left hand. We had a plan, Manchester to a remote Airbnb cottage near a village called Edale. The first red flag? The rental guy. When I told him where we were heading, he paused. He didn't say don't go, he just looked at the car, then at us and said, "Stay on the A roads after dark, mate. The B roads. They aren't meant for tourists when the mist comes down." I laughed it off. Mist? I've driven in Seattle, I'm fine. He just grunted and handed me the keys. I should have paid more attention to his face. He looked sorry for us. Part 1. The Descent into the Fog. We left Manchester late because Sarah wanted to see some specific vintage shop. By the time we hit the outskirts of the national park, it was 8:30 p.m. In England in late autumn, that's pitch black. And then the rain started. Not a storm, but that miserable, freezing British drizzle that turns the road into a mirror. Google Maps was our first enemy. About 30 minutes from our destination, we hit a massive road-closed barrier on the main A road. A fallen tree, apparently. Don't worry, I told Sarah, who was starting to look nervous. The GPS is already recalculating. It says there's a shortcut through the valley. Only 15 minutes extra. That shortcut was a single-track lane. For those who don't know, British country lanes are bordered by dry stone walls, ancient, jagged rocks piled up right against the edge of the asphalt. There is zero room for error. If you slip, you're shredding your tires and your doors. The fog didn't just roll in. It swallowed us. 1 minute I could see the taillights of a distant tractor, the next, the world ended 10 feet in front of my bumper. Part 2. The First Encounter. We were crawling at 10 miles per hour. The hedges were scraping the wing mirrors. Scree. That sound was like nails on a chalkboard. "Ben, I don't like this," Sarah whispered. She had stopped looking at her phone. She was staring into the white void ahead. "It's just a road, babe. We're fine." Then I saw him. In a small gravel turnout, a man was standing. He didn't have a car. He didn't have a dog. He was wearing a formal, charcoal gray 3-piece suit. No coat. No umbrella. He was just standing there, facing the road, perfectly still. As we passed, I slowed down instinctively to ask if he needed a lift. But as my headlights hit his face, my stomach dropped through the floor. He wasn't looking at us. He was looking through us. And he was smiling. Not a hello smile, but a wide, fixed, manic grin that showed too many teeth. "Don't stop," Sarah gripped my arm so hard her nails drew blood. "Ben, do not stop." I floored it. The Corsa screeched, and we left him in the fog. Part 3. The Glitch. Who stands in a suit in the rain at 10 p.m.? I was hyperventilating now. Maybe he's a local? A ghost? I don't care, just get us to the house, Sarah was crying. 5 minutes later, we reached a fork in the road. To the left, a signpost that had been snapped in half. To the right, a bright, modern LED construction sign. You know the ones, big orange letters on a black background. It read, "Bridge ahead closed. Diversion, turn right. Follow the lights." I turned right. About every 100 yards, There were these small, battery-powered amber strobe lights placed on the stone walls.
It felt professional. It felt safe.
Someone was guiding us. But my gut? My gut was screaming. It felt like that feeling you get when you're leaning too far back in a chair and you're about to fall. A literal physical weight in my chest.
"Sarah, look at the GPS," I said. She looked.
"It says we're in the middle of a field. There's no road here on the map." "But there's asphalt under us," I argued, trying to convince myself. "The map must be outdated." I stopped the car to check the signal.
Silence. Total, heavy silence.
No rain sound, no wind. Just the hum of the engine. I looked at the next amber light.
It wasn't a strobe light.
I got out of the car, stupid I know, to look closer.
It was a glass jar.
Inside the jar was a chemical glow stick, the kind you use for camping. It was taped to the stone wall with heavy duct tape. This wasn't a government diversion. Someone had placed these by hand.
Part 4: The Bridge.
I jumped back in and locked the doors. "We're turning around.
Now." "No. Look."
Sarah pointed ahead. The fog cleared for a split second. About 50 feet ahead was a bridge over a deep limestone gorge. The amber lights led straight onto it. But the bridge didn't look right. It was covered in loose gravel and branches. Suddenly, a pair of headlights appeared behind us.
They were high up.
A truck or a large SUV.
They didn't slow down.
They came barreling down the narrow lane right toward our bumper. "They're going to hit us,"
Sarah screamed.
I had two choices: drive onto the bridge or get crushed by the truck. I chose the bridge. I rolled forward, but as my front tires touched the surface, I heard it.
Creak. Not the sound of stone.
The sound of rotting wood and rusted metal. I slammed on the brakes. My gut didn't just speak, it roared.
"Get out. Back up. Now."
I threw the car into reverse. I didn't care about the truck behind us. I was prepared to ram them. But when I looked in the rearview mirror, the headlights were gone. There was no truck. There was just the man in the gray suit, standing exactly where the headlights should have been, holding two powerful industrial flashlights at shoulder height, mimicking a car's lights. He was running toward us.
Part 5: The Escape.
I've never shifted gears faster in my life. I rammed the Corsa into reverse, flooring it. I hit the stone wall, scraping the entire left side of the car, but I didn't stop. The man in the suit reached the hood. He slammed his hands onto the windshield. His face was pressed against the glass. He wasn't smiling anymore. He looked furious. His eyes were wide, bloodshot, and he was screaming something I couldn't hear. I kept reversing. I hit a bump, the car bounced, and I saw the man lose his footing. He fell under the front of the car. I felt a thud-thud. I didn't stop. I turned that car around in a frenzy of burnt clutch smoke and screaming tires. We drove back the way we came, ignoring the glow sticks, ignoring the diversion. We didn't stop until we hit a lit-up gas station on the main highway. Part 6: The Horror Reality. The gas station attendant saw us, pale, covered in sweat, the car mangled, and called the police immediately. When the cops arrived, I told them everything. The man, the suit, the bridge. The officer, a veteran sergeant, looked at me with a face like stone.
"Son," he said.
"That bridge you saw? That's the old Monk's Pass. It hasn't been used since the 1950s. The middle section collapsed decades ago. There's a 80-foot drop into a rock quarry. But the lights, the diversion sign. We've had reports," the officer sighed. "There's a group, or a person, we haven't caught. They set up fake diversions to trap tourists. Usually, They just rob them when they get stuck. But lately.
He stopped.
Lately what?
I asked.
Lately, they've been luring them to the pass. If you had driven 5 feet further, your car would have tipped. You'd be at the bottom of that quarry, and nobody would have found you for months. I ran him over, I whispered. The man in the suit. He fell under my car. The police went out there that night. They found the diversion sign. They found the glow sticks. They found the tire tracks leading to the edge of the abyss.
But they didn't find a body.
No blood, no clothes, nothing. The only thing they found was a charcoal gray suit jacket draped over the road closed sign at the start of the lane. Inside the pocket was a Polaroid photo. It was a photo of me and Sarah, taken through our Airbnb window 2 days before we even arrived in the Peak District.
Part 7, Law Finale.
We cancelled the trip. We flew home the next day. I paid the rental company $3,000 for the damages, and I didn't even argue. The police never caught him. Every now and then, I check the UK news for Peak District disappearances. There are more than you'd think. So, if you're driving in a foreign country and a sign tells you to go somewhere your GPS doesn't recognize,
turn around.
Your gut is the only GPS that matters.